honored to be here. Like, all of the art on the wall. Like, this theater was built in 1910, and it's specifically been a place where Black artists have just shined. James Brown, Etta James, Aretha Franklin, like Ella Fitzgerald, Donny Hathaway, like all the people that I'm like, oh my God, like it's just unreal to be here specifically. My family is here. I had a write-up in the Washington Post about it, and they're like, the first line was like, Baby Rose is coming home. And I was just like, oh, this is so great. Because I lived in DC till I was 12, but I've always been here. Like, I look at home like where your family's from, like where you go back for the holidays. Like, both sides of my family are here. And so, even though I've been claimed by a lot of places, and I love all the places I've lived, Fayetteville, Atlanta, like, love it, I've always known that home is here, and so it's just beautiful. The more I was creating it under, like, we were in an interesting time where collectively everybody had to go inside and just face themselves. And like, the question that I kept asking myself is like, you know, what do I want my legacy to be? If this is the last thing I'm ever to put out, what do I want it to sound like? God forbid, you know, but like, what do I want to leave behind and say? And, you know, To Myself was an album that was very personal. From Dusk Till Dawn was a body of work that was very like, almost me giving an ode to everybody I've listened to and kind of emulating that in a way. And this was really just through and through is just me stretching my arms as wide as they can reach to be able to convey whatever intention I'm trying to do. Like, whether it's a really hard look in the mirror and a really big release with Stop the Bleeding, where we made a quintet sound like an orchestra, like, or, you know, Love Bomb, which is just me putting myself out there again or whatever. Go, which it does have darker themes, but it's just showing like how strong love feels when you're a pure kind of love, like a love of your innocence, a love of God, a love of like something good for you. Dance With Me is a more unstable version of that, but Go is like more like, through hell or high water, I'ma hold on to this. You know, whereas there's a lot of themes today where it's just like, oh nah, F this, I'm about me, 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 me. Like, I've just gotten to a space where I recognize the collective consciousness and that we're more alike than we think. We're more alike than we're different. Like, we share a lot of experiences and we can grow through them and like heal through them, and it can make things better, you know? But it starts internally. Like, where your perspective is what you're going to experience. And so I'm just on that. I just try to like offer gems like that, but also honor parts of me that are less like, although I know what's right, like sometimes I'll be acted up, and it is what it is. Like, it is what it is. It's just, sometimes there's chaos, but I just believe balance is key at the same time, you know?
Been loving you too long. Baby, hold me close, whatever you do. Don't let me go. Don't let me go.
Really understanding how much control we have in our own healing has been something that I've recently become very passionate about. Because I used to be the type that would be very quick to blame other people, like, oh, they hurt me so bad, like, I don't know what to do. And it's just like, no, there's so much power in like accountability or responsibility. Like, nah, I can't let, yeah, this sucks, but I'm all right. It's okay, you know? So just being by the beach, being by myself, being around family. Every time I come to DC, it's just like recharging. But, you know, just trying to be the best sister I can be, daughter I can be, niece, cousin, and also everything else, you know? Being involved in my community. I love being able to do things for like different foundations that are startups. And my mom was a single mom, so I'm like, you know, it's a beautiful thing. I watched her have her own foundation when I was a kid, Underprivileged Kids Foundation. And we would be riding around, even though like it's like it didn't matter that, all right, we're still struggling in a lot of ways. It's just like, nah, like with what we have, we can do what we can and like give back with what you can. So yeah.
Stop the bleeding. How do I stop the bleeding? How do I stop the bleeding? The cycle, the cycle.
Everybody, when you go to the source of who you are and just tap in, like you can reach your fullest potential. And I would just say like, you are like the things that you recognize in others that you admire, you have inside yourself. Like don't feel like you need to fit in or there's something wrong with you, or like don't play into those things. Like if anything, if it makes others a little uncomfortable, that's where you need to pay attention to more, because it's shaking a table, like it's shaking up something where we all need to be accepted for what we bring to this table in this lifetime. Like imagine that. And so even being on this tour, the Through the Soul tour with Mommy, who produces everything, and she's like my little sis, like I'm rooting for her so hard, she's just amazing. And Q Marsden, who produces everything and is just so like childlike in his approach. Like I'm just curious and just wants to try everything and just feels everything is boundless. And it's just like, that's freedom. Like it gives me chills thinking about it, being able to share this stage with them, and like also knowing in my approach, it's just like, how free can we be? Like how real can we be, and honoring like those that really did the work to break doors down. And also in the face of like people that are very like, oh, you know, you're this, you're urban, you're whatever. Like in so many ways, just try to redline the music industry. Like in the face of all of that may happen or I may come across, I mean, just being able to say, like stand on how boundless I am, and, you know, make it easier for others coming next, you know.